Dr. Michael Whittingham, Chairman of the Board and members of the board, Mrs. Rose Miller, our guest presenter, Dr. Donna Bonneman, Acting Vice Principal, Academic Affairs, Mrs. Marcia Gordon-Williams, Vice Principal, Student Services, faculty and staff of Brownstown Community College, students and members of the Brownstown community, and the wider online community. Good morning and welcome. I am delighted to have you join us for today's community empowerment session. Today's focus is on financial empowerment. As the name suggests, the Community Empowerment Initiative is for all members of the community. We are having a series of free sessions, free workshops, and free training. You are getting an opportunity to learn a skill or valuable information to help you in more than one area of your life. And this is at no cost to you. Where else do you see that happening? Especially at a time like this. Imagine the pandemic kept some of us hostage at home for quite some time, but now we're getting an opportunity to come together for the purpose of personal growth and development. There is no age, no qualification, no monetary requirement for these sessions and training. All we require is that you come prepared to learn something new and leave empowered. So what activities do we have lined up today? You are in for a 2-for-1 treat. We're having not one, but 2 exciting and insightful sessions today. The first in this morning's session is the Financial Empowerment Session by JN Foundation. This session is meant to help you achieve financial freedom. Don't we all desire this? You are in the right place at the right time. As you are aware, we're also streaming this session live, so please share the link with your friends and colleagues. Our second empowerment session today will take place right here on our main campus at 2 p.m. in the small hall. The focus of the second session is on first aid. In this session, we'll be sharing with you some very important information and skills you need to help adults and children during emergency situations. Once again, the invitation is being extended to members of the community. Come on out. Please continue to check our website and our social media pages for the dates and details of the upcoming empowerment sessions. Thank you for joining us today. I pray you will leave more prepared, more enlightened, and more empowered at the end of our morning and afternoon sessions. God bless you. I turn now over to Miss Chantal McLeish, who will offer prayer on our behalf.
Good morning, everyone. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, as we go throughout the session, I pray that you give us guidance, give us the knowledge, understand that all that is going to be taught, oh God, and at the end of this session, I pray that we're able to grasp everything, we're able to apply it to our lives, our daily lives. And in your name I pray, amen. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. Rose Miller joined the former Jamaica National Building Society, now JN Bank, in November 2003 as administrative assistant to the general manager. Not long afterwards, in 2006, she was appointed manager of the Mail Courier Service Unit, and in 2009 also assumed responsibility for the Office Service Unit. Mrs. Miller was elected to serve as staff director on the JNBS board from November 2012 to February 2014. In June 2013, Mrs. Miller was transferred to JNBS Foundation. She currently holds the position of the Grants Manager and Financial Empowerment Project Manager with a mission to help individuals empower themselves financially through education. Mrs. Miller travels throughout Jamaica delivering training and aimed at raising the level of financial education of Jamaicans, young and old. Between 2018 and January 2019, between August 2018, and January 2019, she was also elected as General Manager for the foundation. In February 2019, Mrs. Miller was again elected to serve the JN Group, this time as a member trustee for the JN Pension Fund. Please join me in welcoming Miss Rose Miller. Thank you.
Good morning, Brownstown Community College. How are you? I hope everyone is well and you are ready for a life-changing session. They'll not be able to talk back to me, right?
Yes, persons will be able to speak.
Okay,
We have persons here on Zoom.
Okay.
And we also have persons in our CIT room, and it is set
Okay.
up so that we can ask you questions.
Great, 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 great. Because I do want it to be very interactive, and so people leave really fulfilled and truly understanding what we were talking about. So we're going to be wise this morning. That's what our program is called. And the reason for that is because we really want you to be wise when you have left our session. If you were wise when you came in, you're going to be wiser when you left. And if you were not wise, then naturally, your financial education is notched up quite a few levels. So stay tuned. And this is brought to you by the JN Foundation, the philanthropic arm of the Jamaica National Group. So our mission this morning is to get everyone tuned in so that they are empowered to reach a destination we call financial freedom or financial independence. Now, there are a couple of things we're going to need to get there. We're going to need knowledge, skill, the right attitude, and the right behavior. All of this towards money. Now, today we're going to be dealing with the knowledge and the skill. But when it comes to the attitude and the behavior towards money, I'm going to ask that each of my participants really do take responsibility for that, because that is going to be crucial. Your own attitude towards money and your own behavior towards money. And one of the first exercises I want to give you to do this morning, after you've left this session, so I hope you have your pencil and paper to write, I want you to go on the net and try and figure out what is your money personality. Each of us has a money personality, and each person needs to know, what is my money personality? All right, so we'll look that up afterwards. So knowledge and skill we're going to talk about right now, attitude and behavior towards money. I'm asking you to take responsibility for that. Those four things will help us on this journey towards financial freedom. So what are we going to be talking about, and how are we going to get there? There are some tools that we use to get to our destination. 4 tools, in fact: the budget, saving or investing, credit, and insurance. Now, all of those we may have heard, most, 2 or 3 of them, but no one can truly say they have never met any of these. We're also going to be talking about the life cycle we find ourselves in, and what are we supposed to be doing in each life cycle. And I like my diverse audience because it means that I do have people in every life cycle. But why is all of this necessary? It is necessary because there is a huge gap in financial knowledge. Many people are just not aware, are totally ignorant of some things, and because of ignorance, we're not able to maximize on our earnings. We're not able to have the opportunities to spot initiatives that will be meaningful and that can change our lives financially. So we're about to fill in that knowledge gap this morning. But I have a big question for you before we do that. Can you look at somebody and say if they're financially free? What do you think? Somebody on Zoom, talk back to me. Are you able to see somebody and say, yes, man, that person is financially free? Just look at how they're strutting their stuff. Just look at how they look. Ooh, are we able to do that?
No, you can't. You can assume.
Not hearing.
Not working.
Go ahead. Are we able to look at somebody and say if they are financially free? Leonie, you're answering, but I'm not hearing you. All right, so for my audience, I can see you. I'm gonna say yes, and if you agree with me, put your hand up. So yes, you can look at somebody and say they are financially free. In the ICT room, which of you agree with me? Hands up. Oh, nobody agrees. All right, so no, you cannot look at somebody and say if they are financially free. Do you agree with that? All right, I see that hand. Brave gentleman, and you're correct. You cannot look at somebody and say if they are financially free. But these persons do have some basic characteristics. They own assets. Now, assets, you're students, so you should know this, are things of value. So whether it is fixed assets, stuff you can touch, or if it's liquid asset in the form of cash. But these people, they have assets. They also have access to financial institutions, and they use the access. And these people are able to manage their money. Because we would all know that no matter how much money you have, if you don't manage it well, then the money is going to leave you. And then you're going to be wondering, so where is this money? But this money has taken wings and has left you. So financially free people, you cannot look at them and say or see specifically, but they do have some basic characteristics, and these are a few of them. So we're looking at Jamaica in these instances. The number of us who have a savings account, the number of us who have a mortgage or a car loan, the number of us who have a checking account, the number of us who have a retirement account, the number of us who own stocks and shares, and the number of us, rather the percentage of us with credit cards. Now, there are some troubling statistics in those 6 things that I've mentioned. I need one person to tell me one of those statistics that really bother them. Guys, we're going to be talking, so let's talk. I want to be talking to you, even as you're talking to me. So which of these stats are really troubling? And you're saying, no, man, we need to move that up. That need to change. We need to improve in that area. Which of them?
The retirement account.
Yes, Rayon, the retirement account not looking so good at all, but let me just prop it up a little bit for you. This 10% is for private pension funds. If you were to put the government in that, and the civil servants and all that, then we're up to 16%. You feel any better? Rayon, you feel any better? Or somebody else? 16% is a better looking figure? Happier with that?
Not much.
Not much at all, Tammy, not much. All right, so that is still a very dismal statistics. And I'm just gonna spend a moment to explain why it is so dismal. We do all know that people are living longer. And so it means, therefore, if you have no retirement account, then you are gonna be in retirement for a longer period without any funding. And that's not good at all. So it means that not even death is gonna take you out of that situation. So for all my young people, I want you to know, and we're gonna talk about retirement a little later, but for all listening to me, retirement is an important part of this financial freedom thing, all right? So the next stats that I want to focus on is the number of us who actually own stocks and shares. Now, we are talking about financial freedom, and owning stocks is one of the ways to create wealth. But a lot of us do not get involved in that because, again, there is a knowledge gap. But I want to encourage us right here and now, take some time every day to learn something about financial matters. It's going to help you to make wise choices. It's going to help you on this journey to financial freedom. So yes, many of us do not buy stocks because we don't understand it, but there is the opportunity to get information and to get involved. And it does not take a ton load of money to get involved. And for those of us who are not aware, when you own stocks and shares, same thing, stocks or shares, you can use either word. It means that you are a part owner in any business that you have bought the shares in. So if you bought some Grace Kennedy, you are a part owner of this awesome company named Grace Kennedy. If you have bought some Lasco, you are a part owner in this awesome company named Lasco. And so it is with any of the companies on the stock exchange. All right, so it really behoves us to get more information, to get involved, to seek out knowledge so that you can participate and create wealth utilizing stocks and shares. Later on, we're going to touch a little more on that. So these we call our 4 strong pillars to financial freedom. If we know how to use these effectively and to our benefit, we are going to be fast tracking our progress to financial freedom. And yes, they can all help us to get there. So we start with the budget. And we're going to say that the budget is just simply an activity which helps us manage our money. Or we could say it's a plan for spending, saving, investing our money so we can reach our financial goals. And it is in the reaching, first of all, the setting of the goals, the working towards the goals, and the reaching the goals that we're really going to achieve this financial freedom that we're talking about. So notice you have to set the goals, and you have to work at them, and then you know what to do and you get there. All right, it is a process. You may ask, so why should I budget? A couple good reasons. It will show you where your money is going. So the budget directs every single cent that passes through your hands. And hear me now, if you are not directing that money is directing you. And if you wonder, how can money direct me? Just figure out, you went to the ATM, you draw $2,000, and at the end of the day, you are trying to put the pieces together. Now, where did my money go? No, man, somebody must have robbed me or something. Because once we have money, it leaves us. When you have a budget, you are directing the money to take care of that and that and that. You have a plan. So even if you have taken out that money out of the ATM, you have a plan for it. It's not just in your wallet to disappear. So that's the first thing. And then the next reason why we should budget, it will let you see how much you earn. Some people are of the view that all they earn is their paycheck. And even some students are of the view, all the money they have is the money that they get for lunch and transport. But sometimes that is not even true. Sometimes we can get a little gift. Sometimes some of us will get remittance. But those adults in the audience, sometimes you probably get dividends if you're buying stocks or so. But sometimes other money pass through our hands. And it is all of this money together with our salaries that we are going to budget. So not as the money comes, whether it's a gift or whatever other means it goes. No, it is pooled together and then we budget how much we have this month. So the budget will also help reveal areas of overspending, because maybe for the first time when you actually budget, you're going to see that, wow, is that how much it costs to take care of that? Whether it is gas or food or transportation or whatever, is that really how much it costs? And for some of us, our eyes are open wider, because if we're just spending, sometimes you're not tracking, you don't know what's really going on. And the budget will also help us to live within our means if we are doing it properly, if we are focused as the way we should. And the budget will also help our family grow harmoniously, as together we sit down, we plan, and we try to take care of expenses as a family. And I want to really encourage this in our adult population. I want to really encourage us that as adults, with your significant other, with your siblings, whomever forms the household, to sit down and really talk money as a family. And not everybody just doing their own thing. Sit down. And if it's a family with children, do bring the children in, because we really want the next generation to be much smarter with their money. We want them to hit the ground running so they don't make some of the mistakes that we made as adults because of ignorance. So if they're off to on the right footing, things will be good. The nation is waiting for the next generation who know how to handle money. They know how to earn it. They know how to keep it. They know how to spend it. They know how to maximize it for their benefit, for the benefit of their family, and for the benefit of the nation. Jamaica is waiting on that next generation who can prioritize their spending in an awesome way to achieve financial freedom and not have priorities all over the place. Jamaica is waiting for that generation. So, some tips as to how we can meet our financial goals. Think about the goals, and we need goals. Like we said, you set the goals, and the goals can be short term, medium term, or long term. Pick achievable goals, remembering our income and our obligations. Now, we're not saying we're not to be ambitious, but we have to remember our income level and the obligations we already have. We must assign a priority to the goals, the most important first. Prioritizing is so crucial because that really helps us on this journey. It focuses us. We're not all over the place. We understand what's important and we go after those things. We line them up so that we can achieve them one by one and tick them off the list. Prioritizing helps us do that. And as we prioritize, another term I want to mention here is delayed gratification. Sometimes we have to wait to achieve some things. We have to say, no, I can't do that now because I'm on a path, I have a priority, I have a goal I'm being steadfast about. I cannot be deviated to do that. Delayed gratification. Yes, I would love to do it now. I'd love to have it now, but it's going to mess up my plan big time. We have to have that discipline. So you find that discipline is another word we need to know as we are seeking to budget and achieve financial freedom. And sometimes we may even have to consider postponing one goal for another because life happens. And so we may have this goal, but as life unfolds, we find out that no, we have to do a shift. And so that's okay, once it is in line with your plans. So now we come to the life cycle. And if you're 18 to 25, 3 main things you're supposed to be focusing on at this time. And we know it don't normally set up like that sometimes, but hey, we're hoping that as people get smarter and are wiser, then we will see that if we're in the 18 to 25 age group, it behoves us to be pursuing an education, to get ourselves skilled up, educated in whatever form. But education, we can't just be sitting around not doing anything if we're in this life cycle. Then also, it might be where we get our first job or our second job, having acquired skill and knowledge. And then, my young people, I want you to go exploring all those opportunities available to young people. Can I tell you, never before has there been so many opportunities available to young people as in this present age that we are living in now. They are all around you, whether it is opportunities for scholarships, whether it is opportunities to have free courses online, whether it is opportunities to be involved in all kind of programs being set up by the state, whether it is opportunities to study and work overseas. There are just opportunities. Whether it's opportunities if you have a little skill and you can do some content on the internet, never before has there been so many opportunities. You need to just dig deep, find what they are, be in tune, and seek them out and run with them. And I really want to say, young people, 2 things. You have no reason to be ignorant. Let me just make that sink in a little bit. Because anything you want to learn about, you can find it on the internet. And you see those smartphones we have and aspire to have and bang our belly and buy, it was meant to make us smarter, not just to chat and pose up and post pictures. It was meant to make us smarter. Let's utilize it for that purpose. So again, we can advance our journey to financial freedom. So young people, you have no reason to be ignorant. And I want to also tell you this, you have no reason to be poor. Even if you are born poor, you have no reason to remain there. So mark it down, this 31st day of March, 2022. A lady named Rose Miller said, you have no reason to be ignorant and you have no reason to be poor. All right, so we're moving on to the next life cycle, 26 to 34. In this life cycle, we are improving our professional development, and we are probably venturing into a new job. We have probably started our family, and we're acquiring new assets. Again, hear that word, assets. We're acquiring new assets. We're not buying things. Now, things are things that will not be able to help you if you run into a little jam. Quite the opposite of assets that you can convert to cash if you run into a little jam. All right, so make sure when we buy, we are buying things of value, not just things. 35 to 50, and I don't know my audience, but I'm assuming that at least one person is also in this age group. We're probably now consolidating professional development and personal achievement. So we're thinking home ownership, we're thinking senior position in our jobs, and we're also now expanding our asset base. 51 to 64 is typically when we probably start reinventing ourselves, some of us, and I hope there are a couple of people who are joining me in this age group. We are probably reinventing ourselves. We're probably coming back with a new career after we've been in that one so long. And our savings and investment are more targeted towards retirement because the rubber hitting the road now and it is facing us. And we are saying, are we ready? Yes. So that's what's happening in the 51 to 64 age group. 65 is typically when we kick back in retirement. But as we're going to discuss later on, if you want a good retirement, you have to start planning for it from the first life cycle. And remember, earlier when we saw that only 10%, maximum 16% of us had a retirement account, yes, we start planning from the first life cycle. So no young person listening to me today should be adding to that dismal statistics of not having a pension fund, a pension plan. As soon as you start working, time to get going. So if you want a good retirement, you have to start planning from early. But the other thing I want to tell you is 65 is just a convenient way of saying, yeah, you could retire. But the truth is, retirement does not have an age. And we're going to talk about that some more later. So how do we prepare and maintain our budget? We must know the difference between needs and wants. If we don't know the difference between those two words, trust me, we're going to be in big trouble because this want list don't have no end. Every day you get up, another 10 things can be added to it. So if you don't know how to prioritize your needs over your wants, your budget is going to be all over the place. Indeed, you will not be able to budget successfully. Identify and eliminate any unnecessary spending that's in your budget. So after you've created the budget and you're reviewing it, you're going to go line by line and say, is this necessary? Is this, yeah. Anything considered unnecessary, we're going to either take it out of the budget because we have no money to waste, or we're going to trim it down. And I was talking to a group of students some years ago, and they were telling me how much they don't have any money to budget. And I mean, a lot of adults are saying the same thing as well, but that is such a false statement. You have no idea. That is just not true. All of us handle money. So the students were saying, Miss, I don't have any money to budget. I said, really? You have money, you just don't know. You have money to save, you just don't know. I said, for example, how much you all spend on credit on your phone? About $5,000? And they started laughing. $5,000, miss? More than that for the month. So I said, okay, all right. And what is that getting you? Pure talk. But you're the same one trying to convince me that you have no money to save. You have money, you just channeling it in the wrong places. And the same thing is true even for some of you I'm talking to now. All right, so we're going to keep the budget realistic and flexible. And we're going to put the budget in writing. Now, when I say writing, no start stone me, because I know it's fancy app days and so on. But yes, a lot of apps out there that you can download and utilize. But if all you can do is pencil and paper budget, that's okay. If you can use an Excel spreadsheet, that is awesome. Just as long as you have something that you can actually look at and sort out. Now, there are some persons who are also comfortable with using envelopes to budget. And so you have a series of envelopes and you share up the money in each envelope. So you have an envelope for lunch money, you have an envelope for transportation, you have an envelope for your rent, and all of those things. And you spend from that. And that's fine if that's the best you can do. So we have a budget card that lists all the expenses, and it's all of it will not be applicable to everyone, but you can find your category of expenditure there and you make sure that you cover it. So I'm going to send this budget card out when I'm done so it can be shared at Brownstone. But with the best will in the world, sometimes the budget can't balance. And so there are some options. First one up is to seek ways to increase your income. If we can find additional streams of income, adults, young adults, we're going to be fast tracking our journey to financial freedom. So, do you have a skill or a hobby that you can monetize? If you have a skill or a hobby, seek how you can monetize it. If you don't have a skill yet, it's time to get one. Because I have a thing that says, have skill, can't dead for hungry. It was skill that allowed many people to maneuver COVID. Skill, yeah, stuff they can do with their hands. If you have a skill already, get another one. If you have a job, get a part-time job or a better paying job. So you have to line up yourself. Remember we say young people, education, yeah, line up yourself so that you don't have to be fussing with people about them job. You are able to get a better paying job or indeed create your own job. If you can start a business on the side, that's also a possibility. Just as long as if you're working, it is not detracting from your productivity of the other job. Because when people pay us to work, some of them not saying we can't have something on the side, but as long as it's not affecting your primary job. And most companies would also want you to disclose what you're doing. And definitely if you are in the banking system, you can't start a bank. I'm just saying. All right, so we have to seek ways of increasing our income. We also have to seek ways to reduce our expenses. And this might be a little easier. We spoke already about eliminating unnecessary spending. And for some of us adults, it might mean that we have to look a second time at our living situation. Because, you know, many people are paying most of what they earn for rent. Then my question is, when you don't buy something, if that is your situation, you're not going to buy something anytime soon. So here's what I want to suggest as well. And for my young people, this is what I want to suggest. Do. Nobody move out of the family home as soon as you get a little work. Stay home for a little while, build up some savings, contribute to the well-being and the financial outcome of the family, and then you can move on. Because what happened typically, the young people get a little work, move out, go and pay most of what them earn in rent or box around the place. And sometimes them come back and they want to find out what you're cooking for dinner. They come home to wash, they come home to raid the fridge all the time because they can barely survive out there. No, do not do that. Stay home and consolidate. And my charge to the parents, make sure the condition is such that the young people want to stay and not want to run off. Am I talking improve family life, improve relationships and so on? Yes, that's what I'm talking about technically, because Jamaica needs to sort out big time when it comes to that. Our families. Remember I said earlier, we need to sit down and talk money. You'll find that when you sit down to talk money, you'll end up talking about other things. But we have to be very intentional. The family structure needs to be rescued. And all of us are involved, whether we are a parent or a child, all of us. All right, enough preaching on that. So if we can combine both, at the same time, we're increasing our income, we're reducing our expenses, man, we're in a good place. So we must strive for that. We can also, though, create what we term non-cash income. And non-cash income is defined as anything that will keep money in your pockets. So, for example, we're going to save when we spend on utilities. We're going to practice to iron bulk and not get up every morning and press a uniform or press a blouse, because that runs up the light bill big time. We're going to try and change out the bulbs from the incandescent. Once upon a time, it was 2 fluorescent, but now it is 2 LED. And the thing is, LEDs are a little more expensive, but they are worth it in terms of energy conservation. So if you can only buy 1 bulb every now and again, you put the 1 bulb in the area that the light is on the most, until you can buy another one for another area or so. If you have to appoint energy monitors at home, but make sure the lights are off when they are not in use, and limit the amount of time you go into the refrigerator and so on. No standing up at the fridge, children, and wondering what in the fridge. About 2 or 3 minutes, you stand up there with the door open, looking in for what? And for adults, plan as you go into the refrigerator. If you're cooking, take a container and take out everything you need one time. All right, but limit the amount of time we go into the refrigerator. That helps. We can also take care of ourselves. We can exercise, we can eat right. And when I say eat right, don't get off too highfalutin now here. You can simply start with cutting down the salt, the sugar, and the fat, and exercise. Everything I've mentioned right there, those 4 things, they don't have to cost you anything, but you're on a healthier path. So I'm not necessarily talking about any fancy food you have to go get. Start with reduction of salt, reduction of sugar, reduction of fat, and some exercise. And what that's going to do is going to stave off the lifestyle diseases that we invite by eating, consuming too much of those things. And by extension, make us healthier so we don't have to visit the doctor for those things, and medication and hospitalization. And it's a chain reaction. And young people, start from now. Health is wealth in many ways. Not only do you keep money in your pockets, but you are healthier to do many of the things, even the work you need to do so that you can achieve financial freedom. And we're going to maintain our motor vehicles and machines and anything that we buy so that they last us a long time. And if we're using like a washing machine, make sure we use it efficiently. If we just have 2 little pieces of things to wash, either make them wait till you get a full load or do it by hand. When we start up the machine, there's so much input that goes into it for it not to be used efficiently. It's called keeping money in your pockets. All right, so quickly we're moving on to tool number 2. Saving is the fuel for investment, because the wealth of a nation is dependent on the savings of its people. A quotation from our CEO, Mr. Earl Jarrett. He said this many years ago, and it is so true. This is one thing about truth, truth don't change. If it was true 10 years ago, 50 years ago, it is still true, because it is the truth. Saving is the fuel. Now follow me. If you have a nice fancy motor car, but you don't have any fuel in there, are you going anywhere? Somebody, are you going anywhere?
No, you aren't.
We are not going anywhere. We're not in electric car days yet in JA. So yeah, let's keep it petrol for now. Yeah, the car could have fancy subtle. You're not going anywhere. So when he says saving is the fuel, when you have saving, you have something to take you to investment. Very often, there is an investment opportunity, but because you have no saving, you cannot take advantage of it. So fuel up yourself by starting your saving, all right? The wealth of a nation, Jamaica, our nation, Jamaica, is dependent on the savings of its people. Not dependent on the Chinese, not dependent on the US government. The wealth of a nation is dependent on each one of you listening to me this morning. And that's why we have to get it right. And enough of us are not getting it right, which by and large is part of our problem as a nation. We have enough more problems still, but yeah, enough of us are not saving and investing. And then this ultra-rich gentleman said this, and I want you to pay attention to it. Him know what I'm talking about, which is why he's ultra-rich. He said, Warren Buffett, he said, do not save what is left after spending. Spend what is left after saving. Talk about priorities. Same so. You save first and then you spend, not the other way around. Because many of us are finding out that if we go spending first before we save, we have no money left to save. But were you to save first, you'll find that you will always have something stashed away. And in case you're wondering, so what benefit is this session that we're into this morning? This lady come for waste my time, Let me just put that to bed. When, as a nation, and people, I cannot help but talking about nation, it is not by chance that the name of this company is Jamaica National. We talk about nation. Nation, what we can do for the nation, how the nation going to get where we all want to see it go. What's the part that we all need to play, and so on. So when our people, the citizens like you and me, are more financially literate, we will know the importance of saving and investing. Saving will promote financial stability in Jamaica. When we have financial stability, it's going to generate more investment, whether it is local investment or foreign investment. And more investment will translate to economic growth and development. And that's what every nation desires. But it starts with our people recognizing the value of setting something aside, prioritizing so that can happen, learning how to use it the best way so they can start their journey to financial freedom. So we all have a part to play. No matter who we are, man, woman, child, we all have a part to play. So I want to introduce now a formula that the financial experts have told us will help us on this journey. It is called the 10-10-80 formula. And a lot of you are students, so you know what formula means. We use formula to solve problems. We get solutions when we use the formula right. What is the problem we're trying to solve with this formula now? The problem of poverty. The 10-10-80 formula used effectively can assist in solving the problem of poverty. All right, so what are we going to do with that 10%, one of those 10%? I need somebody to open mic and tell me. Come on, people. What do you think we're going to do with the first 10%? No, nobody? I know somebody knowing, but they don't want to talk to me. Anybody come, you need to tell me, man. No. Okay, all right. Okay. The first 10%, depending on who you are, what you believe, the first 10%, you're either going to use it to pay your tithe or you're going to save it. But either way, that's the purpose of those two 10%. What do I mean by that? If you don't business with tithing and church and whatever, you won't pay no tithe. So you're probably opt to save first. But let me just tell you that whether or not you believe in tithing, whether or not you believe in church, 10% of what we earn is to leave our hands because it don't belong to us. So if you don't believe in church and tithing and giving offering and, well, tithe and offering is two different things for those of us who know. But if you're not into that at all, then you find your favorite charity and you send them a check. I hear some of you saying, oh, what did the lady doing? She understands I mean, I have enough money. She tell me if you send some money, go give some people. I wonder what she did. All right, I see I have two people off the bat who want to contribute. So Chantal, go ahead.
You said 10%?
Yes.
Question for you, who came up with that rule or where did it come from?
Which of them? The giving or the saving 10%?
The giving 10%, they said it should leave our hands. So who came up, you know?
All right, that's who answer. Let me see if Cardon can help us. I'm coming back to you, Chantal. Cardon, did I pronounce it right? Cardon, your hand is up. All right, so Chantal have a very good question. I wonder if anybody else online can answer and help rescue me here. No, Cardon is not on, he's connecting. Cardon, Cardon, I'm hearing you now.
All right, miss. So
are you gonna
I
answer
believe
Chantal
that
for me or you have your own question?
Miss, I believe that the 10-10-80 formula recommends that one person saves 10% of the income.
Yes.
And then they would either donate 10% for like charity or whatever,
Right.
and they allocate like a remaining 80% for like required spending categories.
There you go, Cardon. No, who teach you that? Where you hear that?
So I'm a JN member, so I know certain things.
So you're smart up long time. All right, so by now I trust that you have been doing that.
Repeat, miss.
I said I trust by now that you have been doing that.
Yes, miss.
All right, so Cardon, I'm going to put you on the spot. You have a testimony?
Miss, a testimony.
Yeah, as to how it is working or not working.
Miss, well, I can tell you, but I cannot. I don't like can prove it. Can prove it to you.
Say that again.
Miss, I can. Yes, miss. Yes, miss. I can. Yes, miss.
You can attest to what? Encourage the brethren, no man.
Miss, I can attest that the 10-10-80 formula is one that is recommended by the bank and that one that is used for most persons. Miss, it helps you save.
Definitely. So Chantal, thank you. So let me come back to Chantal's question. Who came up with that? Thank you, Cardon. Who came up with that? Many.
Excuse me.
Yes?
This is Rowena McCook. I seem to have missed the 10-10-80. What is the 10-10-80 formula?
The 10-10-80 formula suggests that you save 10%, you give 10%, whether by way of donation or tithing or whatever, but you give 10% and you use 80% to spend on your budget.
Okay, because I went to a seminar some years ago, and this gentleman said that we should save 30% of our salaries so that we'll be comfortable for retirement. So how this 30% and this, because this is working out to just 10.
All right. So the 10%, that formula, the 30-70, could also already include your contribution to pension. You understand? So this 10% is straight saving that you have access to. So you use it to build up your emergency fund or so on. But if you were to put your pension as part of this saving, technically speaking, right? then the 10% would go up. You understand? But you
Yes.
would not have access to your pension portion.
Well, that I understand, but my rule of thumb has always been to each time I get an increase,
Yes.
I just save that, the percentage.
Awesome. Awesome. 10% we are saying is the minimum. There is no maximum. 10% is the minimum. If you can do 12 or 15 or 20, perfect. But that 30% that you heard about includes your retirement contribution. But this 10% does not. You understand?
Yes,
But when
I
you
do.
make-
Thank you.
Great. All right. So I want to go back to Chantal's question now. Chantal, the 10-10-80 or the 10% giving, donating, tithing is a biblical principle. Okay? That's one. However, what is happening is that many people who have nothing to do with Bible are discovering that, wait, that's something that really work. And many people are utilizing it to create wealth for themselves. You know, a divine principle that's set up that no matter what you do, you can't change it because it's set up divinely. So people who don't have nothing to do with church, they are donating and they are finding out that somehow them getting blessing and they are donating even more. So that is how I would respond to you, Chantal. I hope that helps.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. And for those people, I'm glad you asked because there are some people there who saying, what she talk about? No, sir, foolishness that. You know, I would respond in this way. You know, I saw this sign in my dentist's office once, and it said, you don't have to floss all your teeth. Only the ones you want to keep. Why am I saying that? You don't have to believe anything you hear this morning. But if you want to get to financial freedom, I'm giving it to you straight up. Straight up. All right. So we finished with the 10-10-80. So yes, it is the 80% that you're going to spend. And here's the thing. We know it's not enough because we have so much bills to cover. But we're not going to compromise on those 2 10s. We're going to do what we spoke about earlier, which is cut back, which is seek additional streams and so on, because we have a destination in mind. And anybody who has anything by way of finances will tell you that they live on less than what they earn. But we have a habit of living beyond our means. And that's why many of us will never accumulate anything except debt, because we are forever living beyond our means. All right, that is a formula for financial suicide. So when are we going to start saving? Like right now. And where are we going to start saving? Start with JN. What can I tell you? That doesn't surprise you, I hope. But it would be disingenuous if I didn't tell you to do a little diversifying. But in the group, we do have the bank, we do have the small business loans section, and we do have the JN fund managers that will take care of all your needs in those 3 places. All right. So how means what product are you going to use from these institutions to get to where you want to get? So now you have the how much you're going to save, the when you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, and what product. The next thing to do is to make sure you activate the plan. You know, how many people have plan and not putting it to work? And as long as all you have is a plan, and you get up every day and you look at the plan and say, what an awesome plan. This is going to help me to get wealthy. Once that is all you're doing, you're still at ground zero. 6 months' time, you're still at ground zero if you don't activate the plan. A year's time, you're nowhere near anywhere because you haven't started. Get going. If you don't start, you can't finish. All right, anyone with a question? Anyone with a question? No? All right, my slide is frozen. Let's see. That's not nice. My slide is frozen. All right, here we go. So we have 4 different levels of saving. Level 1 is where we use that 10% we spoke about earlier to create our emergency fund. And if ever there was a time when we all understand what emergency is, it is the period in which we now operate. So many persons were caught flat-footed when COVID hit us in 2020. Flat-footed, no emergency fund, no savings, nowhere to turn. People, we need an emergency fund, which is basically money that you have access to in case of an emergency. And the experts have again said, try to accumulate so you can live for at least 6 months. But as COVID has proven, well, 6 months is better than nothing, but see how long we're in this COVID thing here now? All right, so make sure we accumulate some money that we have access to. Level 2 is when we set aside some money every month to pay for bills that happen periodically. So we're talking school fees, we're talking insurance, we're talking property tax and so on. Things that happen 2 or 3 times throughout the year. Set aside something every month to take care of that. Sometimes you won't get to the target, but at least you have something to start with. Level 3, once you have dealt with levels 1 and 2, and you sometimes get a little extra money, then use that to pay down your debt. Because as you'll discover later on, that will play a very important part when it comes to your credit rating. And level 4 is when you launch out into major investments like acquiring house, stocks and bonds, and improving your retirement fund. And you might wonder, so why do we have it organized like that? It is organized in that fashion because you're building, you're consolidating, you're building a house with a secure foundation. You cannot build a house by starting with level 4. You have to dig the foundation. Then you put up the walls. Then you can put on the roof. There's no point having major investment when you don't have no emergency fund. It means that you're going to have to go to those investments, break them so that you can take care of expenses that happen to us ever so often. These are some of the products you can get from our institution. They're high yield, we have direct gain, we have a partner plan, which a lot of people just love the partner. So the institutions have brought it into a secure environment. Because for us adults, we know how the partner thing go. Sometimes people run off withdrawals and sometimes all kind of things happen. But you save with an institution where you can get a solid draw when you're ready for it and so on. I don't tell you I wouldn't join a partner, but if I'm not getting draw number 1, 2, or 3, I ain't going in. I'm good. And for those persons who said, wait until them last draw, we know how some of that work out sometimes. If you have the discipline to wait until the last draw, put it in an institution. Anyway, enough ranting on that. So we need interest to improve our financial security. Now, I know like at this point in time, interest rates are, well, they're improving now because the government is trying to, as they say, mop up some liquidity in the market because the inflation rate is higher than the BOJ target rate. And one of the monetary measures used is to elevate the interest rate. So that's why interest rates are going up a little bit. But interest rate on saving will never be high. In fact, saving will never get you wealthy. You must graduate to investing. Investment is where wealth is created. But as Mr. Jared says, saving is the fuel for investment. You save and then you take advantage of investment opportunities. If all we're doing is saving, financial freedom is going to elude us because nobody pays high interest rate on savings. You have to graduate to investing. So whether it is incrementally or long-term or whatever, just position yourself so that you are taking advantage over time of some investment. And if you are investing and getting returns at compound interest, you are way ahead of the game. Simple interest does not pay as much interest as compound interest. When the interest is compounded, it means that you are getting interest on the interest and the principal you have already earned. So every interest payment period, you have a new principal, and so the interest is calculated on that new amount instead of the original amount that you deposited. So for instance, if you deposited $10,000 at a particular interest rate, every time they go to calculate interest rate, then the new principal is now 10,000 plus. And if you calculate interest on a higher principal, interest rate is gonna be higher. It's not so in the simple interest, they are forever calculating the interest on the same amount you deposited. It's not moving. Also with compound interest, if you allow time to pass, compound interest will take off like bolt over time, but you have to allow time. That is why investing is a long-term thing, not a tomorrow thing or a next week or even a next year. Now, the little book, The Richest Man in Babylon, some of you may have heard of it or have read it. It says, when you see the children working, do not eat them. It's referring to the children, the interest that if you allow it to stay, it will work very hard for you. And you'll be surprised years down the road. Yeah. Recommend that you get a read of that book, chock full of wisdom. So we want to talk a little more about retirement. We touched it earlier, but we want to talk some more now. We want to regard retirement as a journey. And that's why you start as soon as you start working. A journey. And again, money needs time to grow. In that compound interest scenario, money needs that time to grow. So you're ahead of the game when you give your money 30, 40 years to grow. Awesome. Remember I told you retirement was not an age? It's a real thing. Retirement happens basically from 2 points of view. If you are wealthy and you decide that you ain't want to work no more, you can retire. However, you could also retire because you're no longer able to work because you're ill. And that can happen at any time. So while we use 65 as a convenient kind of a time, it's really not an age. You have enough money, you decide that this is it, yeah, you can retire. In fact, there's a growing movement overseas for early retirement in the 40s. A lot of people are chucking it in. They can. Oh, and by the way, you can put away as much as 20% of what you earn in a retirement account, which is to say that if you are in a company and the company is giving 5%, you can put 15% of what you earn. If the company is putting 10%, you can put an additional 10%. You can put away as much as 20% of what you earn. It will also have some kind of a tax break implication if you're if you're over the 1.5 million, that is the tax threshold. You get some income tax savings because they take your pension out first before they do the tax. So if you're over 1.5 and you're not putting away the maximum, then it means that you are paying more income tax. And you could save some income tax and put it in your pension fund by increasing your pension contribution. All right, so talk to your HR department. But if you are not in a company who's contributing to your pension, then you can walk into any financial institution and just tell them that you love you enough. You have come to take out a plan for your retirement. And in fact, if you're online and you don't have a retirement plan, and you want me to connect you with one of our agents so you can discuss that, it is a good time to do that, because we have to move up that 10% or that 16% to a much higher figure. People are living longer, so we need to be factoring in a plan for our retirement. So when you take out an independent plan, you can start with a 5%, but always promise yourself that when you're able to, you're going to move that up to 7, to 9, to 11, until you get to 20%, which is the maximum that the government will allow. Can I contribute to more than one pension scheme? The answer is no. Government is doing legislation now to change that, but as we speak now, only one scheme you're allowed to join. But take heart, we have other stuff coming up that you can do. Can one fund be transferred into another fund? The answer is yes. So if you're with a company and you move to another company, you can move your money from that previous plan to the new plan. If you have taken out one of the individual retirement because you're a contractor, you're a sole trader, you're an entrepreneur, and you now start working with an organization, you can transfer the money you have in your individual plan to the plan in the company. All right. So can I regard NIS as my pension? I need somebody to answer that. So I have NIS, so I'm cool. What's your response? I'm not moving on to somebody answer that, because that is so crucial.
Yes, you can.
Can you regard NIS as your pension? You think you can?
I'm not sure we can. I don't think it's enough.
Yes, I think you can. It's a part of it.
Okay. Operative word, who's that talking to me? Who said that's a part of it?
Damian.
Yes, Damian. And the best word you could put in there is the word part. It is a part of it. But as somebody else was trying to come in and say, it is not the whole of it. And it was never meant to be where you get your money in retirement, the only place. Never, because it is never enough. It cannot sustain you during retirement. So what do we recommend? We recommend a pension portfolio. So you're going to make sure you have your pension plan, that you contribute your 20% or your 5, and then you move to 10, and then you move to 15, and then you move to 20 over the life that you're working. You can also take out an insurance policy, and not just any insurance policy now, but an insurance policy that has what we call an investment part to it. So the premium you pay every month, a portion of it goes to investment. So over time, you'll notice that an accumulation of money is on the plan. And when you see that money accumulating on your insurance policy, just remember that it is part of your pension portfolio. All right? So don't take it off with other things, unless it is reinvesting in something else that will enhance your retirement plan. And then you can also do real estate. So whether it is a piece of land you're going to buy, or it is you're going to make a little addition to the home you now have so you can get some passive income, or when you're so really financially awesome, you can buy another house. Any one of those is fine. Social land, addition to your house you can rent out, or a brand new house, or another house. You don't have to be brand new, but real estate. You can also do real estate through the next item, which is also mutual funds. So let me explain what the mutual fund is. Earlier, we spoke about shares and stocks. Here's a third word that we can use to describe those same things: equity. So whether it's equity, shares, stocks, same thing. So you can buy those directly. Like I say, you can order up some Grace Kennedy, you can order up some Lasco, you can order up some NCB from your broker. But you can also buy mutual funds, which is a pooled fund that's managed by the brokers, the investment house, And then you can buy units in those funds and they manage it. All right. So you don't have to worry about what they buy or what they sell, when they buy or when they sell. They are managing that so that you can make money. So you can buy some of that and you can buy that consistently so that you can have money in retirement from that source. And then you notice NIS is at the end, right? You know why NIS is at the end? Because very likely NIS will be your ice cream money. Ice cream, and that is if you can eat ice cream that time. Okay? Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you. Okay.
Okay, awesome. So I have another exercise for you because I really want folks, and I'm saying I have exercises for you because here's the thing. You are coming in to be trained, but you operate in an environment, all right? What we're after is to make sure that Jamaicans get smart with their money. So I'm going to ask you, whatever you learn today, share with somebody. Invite somebody. I know we're supposed to be streaming, but that's not happening, but it's going to be uploaded. So invite them to take in the session, especially your relatives, because we don't want you alone getting smart up and getting wealthy and you leaving the family behind. Share with them. And those of us who are able to plow into their lives so that they can be financially free as well, do that as well. Because if you're the only rich one in the family, then they're all going to be at your door forever. So bring them along with you, okay? So we have already spoken about the individual retirement. So again, if you know somebody who is self-employed or working on contract, just tell them about this. They can go into any financial institution or JN Life and get one of these plans. They can start their pension savings. And as you save, let it motivate you. Think about your goals, be consistent, seek professional help, and make sure you understand the product and choose wisely. And I'm going to encourage us again to learn something new every day. So go on the tube, go on the net, take in a video. Please write down this video, which I want you to view when the session is over, when you go home. It's called Introduction to Financial Literacy 101. All right. So if you're a parent and you have children, especially teenage children, watch it with them. I know sometimes they don't want to hang out with us, but hey, tell them we're going to watch a video and we can talk about it. All right. Introduction to Financial Literacy 101. So many of us or adults don't like credit card. That's one hand. On the other hand, many of us are drowning possibly in credit card debt. Now, you know, it doesn't have to be that way. Credit card is a great tool, but it can be a disastrous tool if we don't know how to use it. How do we use credit card effectively? We use credit card effectively in accordance with how we have budgeted. So if we budget X amount for that, we can use the credit card to do that because we have budgeted for that. If we budget X amount for that, Y amount for that, we can use the credit card to do that because that's in the budget. The problem comes when we try to use the credit card either for stuff we did not budget for or to live beyond our means. And that is where disaster strikes. We actually don't have to pay interest on our credit card because sometimes that is what scares some of us for not having a credit card. They're afraid of the interest, and the interest is very high. So you are scared of the interest rate and you're scared of your indiscipline. But you have to work on the discipline part. But I'm going to tell you how you can avoid the interest. If you simply pay off your credit card every month, you will not pay any interest. But if you don't have the discipline, then yes. And I suggest that you perform plastic surgery on your card. So you get a scissors and you scissors it up, okay? Until you are disciplined enough to carry a credit card. If you believe that you require some help, then I'm going to recommend to you that you make sure you have a Jane card in your wallet. And here's why. Every other card will charge you interest, full interest, if you're not able to clear your balance. So for instance, if your credit card balance is $50,000 and you are able to pay $48,000, every other company will charge you as if you never paid the $48,000 on the $50,000 that you owe. So if the interest on the $50,000 was $3,500, you're going to be paying the full $3,500, although you paid off most of the balance. JN is the only place where interest would now be charged on the $2,000 you did not pay, which would mean that the interest charge you could be as low as $500 instead of $3,500. So you need a good card in your wallet, especially if you're going to carry a balance. But we encourage you to try not to carry a balance, because any interest that you're paying out, is money you could use elsewhere. But we do understand sometimes you're not able to clear the balance for various reasons. All right, but it's the effective use of the card that's really going to help you. And coupled with having a good card that you're not always paying a whole heap of interest. So credit, we're on to credit, and we have to move quickly along because one time gone, geez. All right, quickly. All right, so if we need to borrow money, have credit, need credit, and you go to a financial institution, there's a 5 C's of credit that you have to answer to, basically. Can't get past without dealing with this. So character is the first one. So character feeds into your credit history, which then feeds into your credit score. So if you have poor character, meaning your payment is bad, in short, then you're going to have poor credit history and problems in the financial sector. Problems to the extent that you can probably get money to borrow, but it's going to be at a higher rate because you are regarded as risky. So that's the first thing. The second thing is your capacity to repay. So you want this $1 million. Are you able to repay it? What kind of capacity do you have? Do you have other debt that will make sure that you're not able to repay this $1 million? So remember when I said if you get extra money, pay down your debt. So when it comes to capacity, you're going to look better. Third C is condition. Like right now in the COVID period, if you want a loan to do X, somebody may look on you and say, but at this time, that's not a good thing to be doing. So the economics of it is what's important here. The capital. Do you have any capital, money to put into this business? And collateral is the last C. And that's property to secure a loan. And property could mean assets as well. I remember earlier we spoke about assets and buying assets, which can now be used as collateral for a loan. But they will not take things as collateral for a loan. It has to be stuff of value. So 5 C's of credit. So benefits of credit, you're able to spend more than you have. You're able to improve your financial security. If you are in a bad place and you have debt all around you, some people are in debt up to their eyelids. When they finish paying all the loans, they don't have no money left. You can do what they call a debt consolidation, which is basically bringing all your loans under one umbrella. Now, when you do that, you are able to get a little breathing space. So while you were paying 5 different places, you had no money, not even to go to the supermarket. Now, when you bring them under one institution, it is worked out so that you do get a little breathing space each month. They extend the period of the loan, and so you have a smaller amount to pay each month. Beware, though. Beware, and I want you to hear me. When you consolidate your debt, promise yourself that if you get 5 years to pay off this loan, you're going to pay it off in 4. So you can start out in year 1 or year 2 But as soon as things improve, promise yourself that you're going to be paying more each month, because that's going to make sure that you end up overall paying less interest. The longer you have a loan out there, the more interest you're going to pay. All right, so pay down something on the principal all the time, and you'll end up paying less in terms of interest. Same thing is true for mortgage. When you take out a mortgage, yes, you may start with 30 years, but things do improve. So shave off something off the principal, bring in a lump sum and pay it against the principal. Don't just take it in, pay it against the principal. Because in the mortgage situation, interest is collected first. So you pay for 10 years and you notice that the principal is still standing up looking on you. Because interest is collected first. So when you're paying down on the principal, by the time you get to collecting on the principal, it's shaving off, and you're going to save interest in that way. And what we can say of credit, in an emergency, you will be able to cover the expense, which is another good reason to have a credit card, because sometimes emergency hits you real hard and at a bad time. And again, you are able to develop a credit history. So credit does have benefits. It's for us to utilize them so that we can maximize on that and use it to our advantage. And we have 3 credit bureaus in Jamaica now. I'm going to encourage us to go to at least 2. This is for the adults now. At least 2 of the credit bureaus and get a credit report. You can do it online. Just make sure that what they have on you is actually correct. If they have information that is not correct, I implore you to sort it out with the financial institution or with whomever, because your credit report must be accurate, all right? And every year you're due 1 free one, so make sure you get it. Finally, we're at insurance. And I know some people don't like insurance for varying reasons, but I want you to love insurance as of today, because it is one of those powerful tools that can get you to financial freedom. Insurance has 3 purposes. You can create wealth with it. We spoke about it earlier in that plan for the pension portfolio when we say get a policy that has a buildup of income on it. So it can create wealth for you. It will help you to preserve your wealth. As in the case of health insurance, if you need to do surgery and you have health insurance, you don't have to go into your pocket to come up with the 2.5 million for the surgery. The insurance company will cover the majority of it most times, depending on the plan you have and all kinds of things, but you do get some help. And that's how your wealth is preserved. You don't have to pay the 2.5 million. You can also use insurance to transfer wealth. So from one generation to the next, from one person to the next, insurance can be used to transfer wealth. Now, I know we're not a nation who is much into this as a people. In some jurisdiction, in some ethnic groups, I mean, it's a disgrace if you don't leave anything for your children, because that is just part of how they are made, part of the culture. But hopefully soon we'll get there. It's not because we don't want to get there, but because many of us don't know how to manage our money so that we can include insurance as a part of our planning. But everybody listening to me online would just love if they get a call and say, come to such and such a place because the will is read, and guess what? This insurance policy, the benefits of it is for you. So there's $1 million coming your way. Every single one of us would like to get such a call. But somebody has to set it up. Forward-thinking people have to set it up. So we're hoping that the next generation, this will become commonplace because they can manage their money so well and they don't make the mistakes, so they can hit the ground running and put all of these things in place. Until then, those of us who can, make sure insurance is a part of our financial plan to create wealth for ourselves, to preserve our wealth, and to transfer wealth. There are different types of policies, whole life, we have critical illness. Yeah, just imagine if you don't have a critical illness plan and you get a critical illness, that will wipe you out in no time with all these doctor bills and medication. So we hedge against that by taking out critical illness. The term life policy is what it is. It's for a specific term. So if like you're in business and you have a lot of debt and you really want to preserve your family, then you can take out a term life. So in the event that anything happens to you, they can cash in that policy and take care of the debt that you have incurred, and the debt is not transferred to them. So you can do it for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever. But the thing with term life is that if nothing happens in the term, meaning you did not pass during the term, then you have nothing to get after the term. But it's a hedge against in the event something happened to you. Of course, everybody's familiar with health insurance, and you can cover your property for fire and flood and so on and so forth. But insurance is one of those powerful tools that can get you to financial freedom. There is a plan that I want to introduce to every family. Every family should have one of this. It's called the Family Indemnity Plan. It takes care of final expense for family members, children up to 26, spouse, parents. Every family needs one of this plan. You pay one premium and it covers 6 persons. Now, people don't like to talk about DEATH, but as we are talking here, it's happening left, right, and center around us. How awesome it is when that happens in a family and we don't have to run up and down wondering how we're gonna lay these people to rest, our loved ones. We need a plan like this so that when somebody passes in the family and we're crying because we're gonna miss them, not because we can't bury them. Right? So again, if you think you're interested in this plan, just drop me a message in the chat and I can connect you to someone. It is so important. Your children, your spouse, and for some of us, our parents. All right, so we are winding down now. General advice, take care of your possession. We don't want people buying the same thing over and over so you can't progress. Purchase quality goods so they will last you a long time. Be generous. How much percent we're giving away again? Tell me in the chat. How much percent we're donating, we're tithing, with whatever? Tell me in the chat. Remember, it's a part of the formula for financial success. And do involve the entire family in this discussion about money. Everybody needs to come on the same page. And I want to encourage you again to continue your financial education. If you can subscribe to investopedia.com, it's an awesome website that will send you information every day. But you don't need to do that. You just need to sit down for 10, 15 minutes every day, look on a video, read a book, listen to an article or read an article, download books online, audio books. I mean, information is all around us. Please use it to enhance your financial knowledge. And this quote from Benjamin Franklin, beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. Little money spent will also erode your financial wealth if it's not spent properly. All right? And this is the one I really want to leave with us. Take action. An inch of movement will bring you closer to your goals than a mile of intention. Dr. Steve Maraboli said that. If we're not taking action, chances are we will never get to those goals. If all we're doing is intending to take action, we're still at ground zero. This is a list of recommended books, but as I've already told you, the internet is full, chock full of information. You just need to go put in financial literacy, financial education, whether it's a video for your young one or your teen or it is information overload. Can't say we don't know. Cannot say we're not aware. We have to be intentional to go after the information. And once we have had the information, seek out information, get it, we act on the information. That's the only way to do this. And our journey to financial freedom would be on track. Thank you so much. I now open up for a question or two. I know we're a little over time, but I do have some time I could take questions. Let me just stop share so I can come back. Okay. So question number 1, who's got it? All right, thanks, Nicola. Yeah, man, free, listen up or read up. Rich Dad Poor Dad definitely will change your life. Real thing. Nobody with a question? Oh,
There was one question from the chat
yes.
during your presentation from Sheridan Hay. He was saying, what are practical ways that you suggest saving for the future? I think you dealt with it, but you could just do a brief summary.
Okay. I wonder how old is Sheridan? Sheridan, how old are you? You can just tell me teenager, 20s, 30s. So I can answer you more specifically.
Me, Miss.
20s?
It's 18.
You're 18. 18?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. So now basically you are in college or heading there.
Miss Brownson, come see.
Okay, all right. So you know you can practice the 10, 10, 80 right now, right? So whatever earning you have, you use the formula. And that's what we want. Remember I said earlier, even with lunch money, we can do it with, because we're developing the discipline of setting something aside. So once you have cultivated the discipline, it becomes so easy when you start earning big bucks, because the principle is already there. It is entrenched in you. No matter what the 10% is, you don't feel no way to give it away, because you know say a part of the formula. All right. So you continue with this 10, 10, 80. You continue to build up your emergency fund for things that will happen around you that you need to lay money on right away. You also look out as a young person for opportunities to invest. Okay. Now, a lot will depend on if you are staying at home, if you are, and I already tell you, Sheridan, make sure you stay at home so you can build up your nest egg and so on, instead of just hopping out and go pay most of what you earn initially for rent. So stay home and build up a little nest egg. You can even build up something that you can actually invest and put aside, whether it is in mutual funds or indeed in stocks, or you can go IPO. Sometimes there's an IPO, and I didn't even get to talk about the IPOs that going around that people need to tap into and invest in, because, you know, it's for the long term, but you can find some short-term gains. And I want to talk about even one that went by just about a month ago or less, where Edufocal went on the stock exchange. Anybody online bought any of those shares? No? So they were being sold for $1. And they are now over $3. Teresa, you bought some?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. And they are now over $3. It don't go on a month yet. But it doesn't happen like that all the time. But what I'm saying is, if you were to spend a little $2,000 as an investment, put it down for the long haul. It's not much money, but at least you start on the road to investment, to creating wealth. If you don't have a lot of money to buy stocks, just look out for the good dollar stock, them and them coming up in the IPOs, and spend a little $1,500. All right, $2,000 or $3,000, and you put that away. All right, Sheridan? But like I said, you have to save, so when these IPO come, you have a little money enough to go look around to find out, come up with some money so you can invest. All right? Creating wealth. And read up on these things online. Sorry?
Miss, you're kind of breaking up.
Oh, sorry about that. So you heard when I say you must try and do some IPO, some $1 IPO, right? Chardon? Guys, am I losing you?
I am hearing you clearly, Miss Mello.
Okay, not sure.
But I guess for Jordan, he's saying that you are breaking up, so I assume he's having technical issues where he's
Yeah,
at.
it's probably on his side.
Right.
All right, anyone else with a question as we wind down?
Yes. Are you hearing?
Yes, I'm hearing.
Oh, so you hearing me clearly now?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's because I'm using the microphone that is provided. Yeah. So you were breaking up just a while ago for me, so I didn't hear the question that you proposed.
No, I was answering. Is this Chardon?
Yes, miss.
I was answering your question. You were asking how you can save for the future. And I was saying to
Okay.
you, even from now, start utilizing the 10-10-80 formula.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay. Okay.
And then look out for the IPOs, the initial public offerings, where companies are going on the stock market, especially the junior market, and offering shares for $1. You can buy these shares. Sometimes $1,000 is all you need. So you have to stay tuned, all right? You have to have your financial antennas up. 2 good buys just went by last month. So you have to look out for that and buy, spend a little 1,000, 2,000 or 3,000 as you are able and stash it away, building wealth for the future, all right? But definitely start using the 10-10-80 like right now, so that by the time you start working, then you are comfortable with it and able to utilize it. And you'll see how that, well, you know the benefits already. You did mention that, you know. All right. Any other question?
I have a question,
Yes,
Ms.
go ahead.
Miller. I wanted to know, do you think non-fungible tokens are a good investment?
Must confess, I don't know a lot about it. It is an emerging technology or whatever concept. And so we have to watch to see what's going to happen. All right. But again, these investments are, I want to say, for persons who can afford to lose money, right? I don't know if I put that right. But for now, I would stick to the tried, tested, and proven until I have sums that I can afford to lose.
Right.
And until more knowledge emerge. But definitely start reading up, start digging in, start listening so you can get a full understanding of what those are, what cryptocurrency is, and all of those things, because those are emerging. And especially for young people, you're going to have to face those in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So definitely dig in with the knowledge.
Right. Thank you.
Sure. Anyone else? Going, gone. All right, I'm gonna ask you to give me a little feedback in the chat. How was the session? What did you learn? Can you just spend a minute and just give me some feedback in the chat so I can see how you are feeling? And if you want to tell me what is your next move, that would be awesome as well. What you're going to do about what all you heard? Yes. Tell me that as well. And I really want to thank Brownstone for putting this on, because I really like when I get to talk to students, adults too, but students, man, because I keep saying, man, somebody couldn't tell me this 20, 30 years ago, man. Somebody couldn't straighten me out. I would have been so much ahead of the game. But yeah, young people, you can't plead ignorance anymore. You get a little taste and you get a platform or platforms that you can go get knowledge on. Make it happen for you. You have no excuse. All right, Jackie, I hear you. You mean like next month, or Jackie, not next year? All right, so send me an email if you want me to connect you to someone who can really deal with that for you. rmiller@jngroup.com. And please do also send me an email when you're making strides, because I want to know that something is happening. Remember, it is in the action that things happen. So rmiller@jngroup.com. Let me know what's going on. Awesome. I hear you, Ramesh. Can't go wrong. That's right. Some things are happening. Awesome. Do it for you, do it for the nation. Do it for the nation. Okay, over to Brownstown.
Thank you so much, Miss Miller. We have some giveaways, so we're going to ask some questions from the presentation. It was a very informative presentation, and I hope that everyone took some notes. The first question I'm going to ask is, how can we prepare and maintain a budget? We got about 4 different tips. So can someone name 2 of them? You can also put the answer in the chat. You can raise your hand or drop the answer in the chat. It appears this question is a bit too technical for some persons.
I didn't make any notes on that.
No one made no. Okay, so in that case, I'm going to move on. Wait, hold on. Let's see. Miss Stewart says that look at how much you earn and live within your means. That's not what I was really looking for. There were 4 very specific tips that were given.
Right.
At the start of the presentation.
There's a hand.
All right. Now let me see who that is. Yes, Miss Wisdom, you can go ahead.
So we should know the difference between our needs and wants.
Right.
Identify and eliminate unnecessary spending. We should keep our budget realistic and flexible, and we should put the budget in writing.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Well done.
Awesome.
Can you give her
Awesome.
a hand with using our
Awesome.
emojis? That was very good. So, Miss Wisdom, you can come to the marketing department for your prize. All right. Moving on. I want someone to tell me, what is an emergency fund?
Yes.
You can type it in the chat, raise your hand, open your mic. And this is a very easy one. I got a response from Mrs. Greenwood, right? She's saying money allocated for unexpected situations.
Right.
Very good, very good. Or what I had was money you have access in cases of emergency. So it's basically the same thing.
Same thing. Good job.
So yes, well done, Mrs. Greenwood, right? And you can also come to the marketing unit to collect your prize. All right. So what is the age of retirement?
Everybody should get that one.
Yeah, everyone. Nurse Miller.
Quick on the draw.
Yes, the age, correct. So Nurse Miller, she came in first. So you can collect your prize as well. And the final question that I'm going to ask, I'm gonna give you a difficult one. You really would have had to be taking notes to get this one. What are the 5 C's of credit?
Good one.
Miss McLeish, go ahead.
All right, it is character, condition, capacity, capital, and collateral.
All right.
Well done. Yes.
Awesome.
Right. So all persons who participated and got their questions correct, you can come to the marketing unit. We have a prize for you. So thank you for participating in this segment. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Ramesh Rankin to do the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Ramesh.
On behalf of our Board of Management, our staff, our students and guests, and the entire Brownstown Community College family, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Ms. Miller for taking the time out of her schedule to make this informative and timely presentation to us. And after receiving such a wonderful presentation, no doubt we will be able to be financially responsible, to handle our money better, prepare for the future, and increase our success. And so we want to thank you, Ms. Miller, for taking this time out. And we truly, truly appreciate it. And we hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I want to encourage you on this journey, because you're going to need discipline. You're going to have to steadfast. You're going to need the vision. You're going to have to almost have a tunnel vision, be focused. Some people around you won't understand why you can't go to this bashment or you can't be buying that, but you're on a mission. If you're so willing, you can explain to them, or you can bring them in and you can wise them up, but do not allow them to railroad you off your path. More than welcome. Have a good afternoon. Sure. And let's do it again soon.
Yes, let us do that.
All right.
So thanks once more for joining this session today, everyone.